What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo. A lawnmower is running right now. It's Rumor Innuendo. It's Tuesday. That's Robert Karpelis. Robert, introduce yourself while I close my windows.
I was trying to figure out what that noise was. I thought maybe the planes had finally found you, and they were going to drop the big one. Hi, welcome to Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Robert Karpelis, better known as WWE Creative _ISH on X. I am wearing a shirt that I normally wouldn't wear. I just got back from the dermatologist. That's what you guys tune in for that sort of information. And I wasn't going to wear like a kayfabe shirt out amongst the civilians. So I put on a normal person shirt, and then while there, they decided to do a couple of quick operations on me. So I am in a tremendous amount of pain. The whatever they inject me with is wearing off. So this is going to be perhaps the most fun episode of Rumor and Innuendo we've ever done. That being said, let's say hi to Mike Malaro, who needs it because he said, "Boring day at work. I need my daily dose of R&I." Let's hope those planes land safely. And Jake, morning, everyone. Anyone else notice in the NXT on CW advert during Summerfest that Ethan Page and Lexis King were heavily featured? Amazing what consistent booking can do for talents. And Andy Borders said it best. Let's hear all about last night's awesome Raw. There is a lot of meat on the bone, but enough about Bronson Reed and Odyssey Jones.
Oh, that would have been a good Blue Chew segue as well, Robert.
So. No, that wouldn't. We'll
meat on the bone, baby.
Guys, I think we know what the Blue Chew segue is going to be based on last night's episode of Raw. But Dom, where are you? Captain, my captain, where are you taking us?
Let's steer the ship where Raw kicked off, and that was with Gunther walking out, being introduced by Ludwig Kaiser, who, by the way, Robert, I forgot to mention, I saw zooming by on a scooter leaving SummerSlam. He was moving like a bat out of hell, man. It was crazy. So, little.
Is there anything more European than Ludwig Kaiser on a scooter? Was it a Vespa?
No, but he was in a suit, and it was quite the surreal sight all of a sudden as we were all exiting, and he was heading towards the stadium. So, but he introduced Gunther, who came out looking like a champ in a suit, and did happen to say, "Hey, I'm up for anybody and anyone, and nobody will surprise me." Well, he got surprised. We got surprised too. Randy Orton came out, and he made sense of it all because he said, "Hey, you never actually really pinned me." And Gunther, like a pro, was like, "Yeah, you're right," and it's kind of stuck in my craw for a little bit. So let's have it at Bash at Berlin. What did you think of this opening segment, and what do you think of Randy Orton as Gunther's first opponent?
Opening segment laid the foundation beautifully. This was the Gunther coronation. You needed to open with your new World Heavyweight Champion. There were a lot of exciting stories. The Rhea Dom story, the Damian Priest Finn Balor story. They opened with the world champion, the new champion. It made him feel like, this is my show. I am the captain now. So I love that as a decision. I loved the suit. I didn't like his old cat burglar outfit he'd been wearing the last few weeks. So the long sleeve black shirt and black pants. He should wear a suit. He should look like a proud champion. I would not have given him pyro, by the way. He should be the kind of guy that hates pyro and ballyhoo, hates pomp and circumstance. It is just, I am here in a suit. I'm a cranky old man. Get off my lawn. The Orton reveal. We talked about it yesterday, who the potential challengers should be. And the two names that I had thrown out there were Sheamus and Rey Mysterio, because I wanted an established star that can easily lose, but would still feel like a big enough attraction for the folks in Germany. Randy Orton checks off all those boxes. More importantly, their weird new attention to detail. They're like, oh, by the way, there was this thing that happened at King of the Ring where Randy Orton's shoulder was up. We're going to pay that off now. That was not the plan. It wasn't like they thought months ago, let's plant this little seed and see what happens. Nope. There was a moment that was a screw up. Wasn't supposed to happen. Referee decision is final. And now you get a Randy Orton Gunther match.
Yeah, very well set up. The two suggestions I thought you made were great because I thought Sheamus made a lot of sense. And then Rey Mysterio, obviously, as like a little underdog going up against Gunther was a good move. But I think Randy fits the perfect mold for this because you can have those matches later on down the line. Randy Orton feels like such a big deal because obviously he's such a huge star. And then like you can get Rey Mysterio in that David versus Goliath kind of situation later on, I think. So I think he's a good introductory guy. If he loses to Gunther, which he will at Bash at Berlin, it doesn't hurt Randy at all. Randy's in a good spot right now as it is, like where it comes from a storyline standpoint and from a career standpoint, I think. So this will be a fun one. I think it really created a lot of excitement for Germany coming up here. So
It did. The one surprise, I kind of felt like what we were teasing for a little while was that Orton was eventually going to turn on Cody and be like, hey, I've been helping you. I've been taking beatings for you. I got put through tables for you. I should be World Heavyweight Champion or WWE Universal Champion. Where's my shot? So I'm a little surprised, but it very well could be Orton fails here for some reason and then decides he's going to turn his attention to Cody. Regardless, I thought Orton looked great in this segment. Gunther looked great. And something WWE has not been afraid to do of late, which I've enjoyed, is we're taking the microphone away. We're just talking up close and the camera's catching the natural audio. The idea of like, you're not going to catch me off guard when we know Orton's whole thing is RKO out of nowhere. Super fun. Loved all this. It makes you oddly excited for Bash in Berlin in a way that you might not have been previously. So I think this is a home run decision.
I liked it too. The fact that Randy was like, I want you to see it coming like this time around. It kind of elevated Randy. And then on top of it, it also elevated Gunther.
I'm saving it for later, but I want you to see it coming felt like the perfect segue.
It could have been. There's a lot where, we subliminal advertising here. We plant the seeds. This is long-term storytelling, Robert, today on Innuendo. I also liked Steamboat and Flair reference too. I thought that was cool. Nod back to the history.
Nice Flair Steamboat reference. We'll see what kind of match they ultimately deliver. I'm sure it'll be a hell of a lot of fun. It is strange when you see that Orton now looks bigger than Gunther.
Yeah, right, dude. He's big. He's a big dude.
As a big boy on a show full of big boys.
That's right. We had Sheamus coming up there and defeating Ludwig Kaiser. I'm kind of surprised that they just let off with this match. I thought there was going to be a little bit more build, but obviously we had Pete Dunne interfering yet again, but Sheamus still gets the win. I think this is still good positioning for everybody. They're really building towards Pete Dunne versus Sheamus. Does this hurt Ludwig, Scooter Man?
Didn't love that decision just because I was thrilled to see Kaiser back. Didn't expect him to be back so soon. Glad he's healthy and healed. You could have had Kaiser beat Sheamus because of Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
The reason why this bugged me, wins and losses, depending on how you're booked, it doesn't really necessarily matter. However, you are trying to present Gunther as strong as you can, and he should not be associated with people who lose. That's why they got rid of Giovanni Vinci. So to have Kaiser immediately lose to Sheamus, didn't love that decision. The stare down after with Pete Dunne and Sheamus was a little of like the old Simpsons, like shake harder boy. Like you could have just gone after him. He's standing right there. There's not an invisible force field. Go. But they stared daggers at each other. And it was a smart decision to do this match because they did the first hour commercial free. And these are two guys you can trust to do a really strong 12, 13, 14, I don't know time how long the match was, a really strong match that's not going to lose the audience.
Right. You know what, Robert? I like to your point. I thought Ludwig versus Sheamus felt like a bigger deal than Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. I don't know.
It was the plan, but plans change, pal. Part of it was Ludwig Kaiser going on the shelf. They needed something for Sheamus to do. Pete Dunne, his tag partner Tyler Bate is injured, so they've started this other storyline. So let's wrap up this Kaiser storyline and pivot to Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, and letting those two dudes beat the hell out of each other. Hopefully in Europe will be a blast.
It should be very, very good. Speaking of pivoting, the Judgment Day is pivoting. Damian Priest came out, wanted a piece of Finn Balor, who did not come out, but addressed him on the screen and basically laid the work that he said it wasn't him who turned his back on him, but Damian Priest turned his back on the Judgment Day and kind of laid out what we've been talking about. Like, hey, this is all, you made this about you and not about the team, blah, 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 blah. And really good segment, I thought. And then, yeah, I just thought this was really well set up for everything and kind of reestablished this is the new Judgment Day. They made that crystal clear by showing Dominic, Liv, Carlito, even, and JD McDonough. So, and then they set up the match between JD and Priest later on in the evening. So, what'd you think of this segment kicking off there?
But, yes, Virginia, there is a babyface, and it's Damian Priest. That dude is now full on. He gets it. The idea, and I've talked about this on other podcasts before. If you subscribe to Something to Sports Entertainment with as a Patreon subscriber, I've talked about this concept a couple times, that when you are a world champion, when you are a universal champion, whatever it is, you need to create this us versus the world mentality, the Hulkamaniacs, the C Nation. The fact that Damian Priest was like, Judgment Day was my family, but you guys, you're my family.
Family.
Like Dom Toretto from Fast and Furious. Either way, I love that pivot. I love this idea of I'm not alone because I have the audience and I'm coming for you, Finn. And then Finn holding up the picture of the exact moment when he knew that this was going to happen. I lost last year. You told me to man up. There is no leader in Judgment Day. We're all one group. It's a flat world. And then you decide you're going to be the leader because you're the champion. Screw you, buddy. And then the pullback to reveal the new Judgment Day, framed perfectly, shot well, crowd responded beautifully. Baltimore, you guys just knocked it out of the park.
Big wrestling city.
Big wrestling city, Big Jimmy's famous seafood city, and The Wire. But I can't quote anything from The Wire and not get it kicked off of YouTube.
Omar's coming.
That works.
Yep. All right. Hey, what also? Well, did this work for you, Robert?
Yes, it did. If it's the next match,
Lyra Valkyria defeats Shayna Baszler. In the match. What do you think of that?
So the match, not good. Lyra Valkyria, who I really want to like.
I like her.
Has not shown the transition from NXT to WWE has been seamless for her. She seems to be missing a step. There seems to be a hesitation in some of her movements. There's not a real fluidity to it. There were a couple times where Shayna Baszler was stalling, waiting to hit something. But there's a moment during this match that might be my favorite moment of 2024. Michael Cole, who is now a beloved babyface commentator. Everyone's like, this guy's the greatest. Just goes, I learned something very weird about Shayna Baszler. And we're like, oh, what interesting character development are we going to get? We already know that Lyra Valkyria thinks that she is a raven from Irish folklore. Shayna Baszler collects soup recipes.
I like soup.
Soup is not a meal, Dom. Ironically enough, I did have soup last night.
Did it fulfill you, though?
It did, because it was a pasta fazool.
It's a meal, Robert.
So it was a meal because there were chunks of sausage and there was pasta in there. So you got a hearty bite. Also would have gone with the sausage and lentil. But
that sounds like a D'Angelo family meal. But
the fact that this was the big reveal delighted me to no end. Match stunk.
I forgot she was trained by Billy Robinson. I thought that was kind of cool. That was a more interesting fact than the soup. Okay, let's move on though. CM Punk comes on out. And he gets confronted by Hangman. I
just like the way you phrased that. It comes on out, like you're the next contestant on Rumor and Innuendo.
Let's make a wager here. CM Punk gets confronted by Seth Rollins there, looking like Hangman Page. I wonder if that was intentional. Don't know. Something to think about. But either way, they get interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and things explode. Punk chases after Drew, and then in comes Bronson Reed. And wow, man, you want to reestablish somebody. I think they did it right there, Robert.
That segment started and ended a lot differently than I think anybody expected. And kids, we may have really underestimated Hunter.
Yeah, we really have.
Like, I get that he has got a mind for this business, and it is great. This segment opening with Punk talking about, hey, I'm happy because I came back in 5 months instead of 9. Yes, I didn't win, but we all saw what happened, and now I'm ready to fight. And Drew, I'm coming for you. And then Seth coming out there like this jilted ex-girlfriend who's like, what about me? I want my fight. And they're squaring off, and you're going, oh, we're going to get Hangman Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Nice little tombstone shout out by Punk, by the way. That was a nice little moment right there. But then Drew appearing in the crowd with the friendship bracelet, happy as he can be, distracting Punk, goading Punk, and then he spoke ill of his dog. And look, if anybody ever were to say something off color about Marty McFly, my dog,
Adorable.
I will hunt you down. So Punk bails on Seth, going after Drew, and you're like, oh, Seth's just kind of Mr. Irrelevant, and like it was like playing SmackDown on PlayStation 2, where you push the randomizer button.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm going to play as Brock Lesnar, and my opponent's going to be Rene Dupree. Sure. Out comes Bronson Reed. And I'm going, oh, this is not going to be great. This had shades of when they needed someone to attack Rey Mysterio, and it was A-Train. I love Matt Bloom, but like A-Train. But by God, kids, big Bronson Reed hits the tsunami, and I'm like, okay. Hits a second tsunami, and I'm like, okay. Hits a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth. Dude, with the exception of the fact that Seth couldn't bite down on the condom to really get the blood out, this was a surprise grand slam.
Dude, completely. Like, you think about it too, and Bronson has been like kind of in the Lance Archer role here in WWE, where it's like he comes out, he's big dude, has a presence, but then loses and then keeps losing. And then you're like, what's going on? Then he beats Sheamus. They make the tease earlier in the night there with Adam Pearce saying like, hey, I beat Sheamus. Why didn't I get a match here? And he's like, you got to prove yourself. And boom, he does. I liked it a lot, Robert. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how they handle Reed moving forward. I think, too, in the aspect that you think about what Bronson Reed has kind of brought to the table so far, him going up against Seth, it almost gave us the impression, maybe probably you too, that Seth would have handled Bronson right then and there. That's how the thought process kind of went for me. Is like, okay, this is what's going to go down, but it didn't. And we got Bronson Reed being very much established as a viable competitor for Seth and a good feud potentially moving forward. So let's see what happens.
Great feud with a lot of different potential because that crowd was into it by the fifth tsunami.
Right. It built up.
And Seth is someone who right now I can see them wanting to turn him heel, especially going up against Punk.
Yeah.
I don't think that Seth survives as a babyface against CM Punk. I think the character is just so
insecure.
Yeah, he's insecure. He's inconsistent. He's not the guy that you want in that role, in that spot. But I mean, you just saw Bronson deliver tsunami after tsunami after tsunami, and Seth was flat. He was done. And guys, if you're looking to deliver tsunami after tsunami after tsunami in the bedroom, our next sponsor needs no introduction. You've seen the ads. You've heard us talk about it a million times, and I bet there's a big Bronson Reed part of you that wants to try it. What am I talking about? Blue Chew. That's right. This isn't your grandpa's blue pill. This is the one, the OG chewable tablet for better sex. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Blue Chew wants you to have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com so you can deliver tsunami after tsunami after tsunami. Hopefully you don't have a waterbed. Blue Chew wants the entire country rock hard. They told me. That's the mission. They will not sleep until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Thank you, Blue Chew. Robert, I don't know where this segment occurred into it because it wasn't on my rundown, but I did want to bring up the Braun Breaker promo backstage, saying that he is not the hunted, he's still the hunter, and he's still on the hunt. What did you think of this segment of him? Just we got a little taste of what the Intercontinental Champion has planned out moving forward.
I love it. I love this idea of I'm the champion. That does not mean that everybody's coming after me. That means everybody has to deal with me. And it was understated. It was soft spoken. It could have been a babyface promo, could have been a heel promo. You know, we talked about this before. I even talked about this with Kevin Kellum on Friday. Braun has a little bit of Steve Austin in him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of this idea of I'm not a babyface, I'm not a heel, I'm me. And depending on who I'm facing is how that crowd is going to react. So chef's kiss for Braun Breaker. Looking to see if there was one other moment before that I think it warrants touching on. That was the AOP New Day Ninja Turtle match.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to actually cover that next because I didn't know which happened before or after. But
That's why I've got my rundown right next to me, dude.
You're on the ball. Hey, was this on the ball bringing in Odyssey Jones into the mix for New Day and then looking like they're kind of reestablishing? I did see something that Xavier Woods didn't look all that enthused, but I wanted your perspective on what did you see in that segment? What did you think take away from it?
Yeah, he's supposed to not be enthused. It's supposed to be this idea that Kofi reached out and brought in Odyssey because these guys are brothers. These guys are simpatico. They understand what's going on. It's like you and I, Dom, and the fact that Kofi was like, "This is awesome. This is great," and the way Woods played it in the ring. And then during the promo backstage after was tremendous. It's like, yeah, I get why you brought Odyssey Jones in. You didn't tell me, number one. Number two, I don't love the idea of having to replace Big E. No one can replace Big E. That's our friend. That's our ally. That's our brother in arms. Odyssey Jones, great guy. I think he's a great performer. He is a big presence, both physically and personality wise. I met him a couple months ago. He was at a local show here at the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling show backstage. He fills up a room. He is a guy, you see him, you go, oh, he's definitely someone. And he's just got this big gregarious personality that you gravitate to him, and that makes sense that he would be a part of New Day. And the fact that it's planting that seeds that everything Karrion Kross is saying to Xavier Woods is weighing in on him. It's fun storytelling for a lower mid-card story. I'm curious to see where it goes. I also like that Hunter has created a day after WrestleMania feel for the day after SummerSlam of a new direction for Bronson Reed. That was new direction, not a Blue Chew ad. And also the idea of we're bringing back Odyssey Jones, who's been on an Odyssey in catering for the last year and a half.
Yeah, it's a great point. I didn't even look at it that way. It's the day after SummerSlam, and it makes a lot of sense. Jake also brings up a good point, too. This is why I haven't fully counted out the Final Testament. Even them looking like failures now doesn't mean Triple H can't heat them up. So maybe there'll be a little something cooking there.
No, once Karrion Kross shaved the beard.
Dude, I like the mustache. Yeah,
I don't like no. He doesn't have the mustache. He's just clean shaven now.
Yeah, I know he is, but I was saying I did like that.
I want the beard back. Not the bald head. I didn't like the bald head.
No, he's got a great head of hair. You got to keep it if you got it.
Easy.
I
don't think you or I are in a position to be talking about folks with great heads.
We're not the ones talking about follicles here.
Yeah, how Hims is not sponsoring our show
come on,
at this
guys,
point. Like, come on, guys. Real quick, because we are super late on time, which is fine because there was a ton of stuff to unpack here. I thought the Priest JD McDonough match over delivered.
Yeah,
this could have been a squash. It was a fun back and forth match. They showed how JD can, be a viable opponent for Damian Priest, while Priest looked like a major major star, and everything that happened in the post-match felt earned. Finn
did.
Balor attacking, it's what he said he was going to do earlier. The entire Judgment Day, including Liv Morgan attacking Priest, a lot of heel heat, and then the reveal of Rhea Ripley coming out. That place went banana, Dom.
It did, and it's cool to see them still together, Damien and Rhea. So you want that friendship going on, and like you mentioned too, they're friends in real life, and it's a cool kind of aspect to have them against all of Judgment Day. It's kind of neat to see that. Plus, Damien's got the fans now, so pretty cool stuff. Well, let's do. Oh, Sammy and Jay. Just want to touch upon them real quick. Seems like they're really building them as a team. I'm getting really Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor vibes from them.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I would not be mad about that dynamic whatsoever. It does feel like, yeah, we're setting them up to go after the tag titles. That's a nice match for Bash in Berlin if we pull the trigger on it. And then the main event, which I was super nervous about.
How'd it pay off for you? Did it?
Yeah. I think there was months of build. Then I'm like, eventually the bell's got to ring. And I just think if the bell rings, it really better not totally suck. It definitely did not totally suck. American Made, how do they not have Hogan's WCW
That's
theme,
exactly what they got to bring that in, I think.
Yes. They are American Made. Jimmy Hart's still around. Just bring Jimmy in. He'll redo it. Yeah, thank you. Please don't do that again. That was unnerving. They wrestled the match in a thoughtful manner. It felt like the spots were designed to get over their unique character traits a little bit. It's very tough to just look at Dexter Lumis and not think he's the lead singer of a Sublime cover band. Gacy looked like the ECW zombie if he was a Peanuts character.
Oh my God.
And Rowan is Rowan. When he did the Harper thing, that got you in the feels, kids. And the right team went over. It didn't hurt Gable and his crew. It wasn't over the top spooky. It was eerie. And I think that's the vibe they have to go for. I'm not super bullish on the future of the Wyatt Six, just because I don't think there's anything overly dynamic about any of those performers per se, though the way they positioned Bo Dallas and shot him, he looked like a big deal.
He did, very much so, yeah. I liked the match. I thought it did over-deliver in certain ways when it came to what the crowd reaction was and spotlighting each guy. I didn't like how Michael Cole was saying, like, they believe that they're this person. Like, they believe that they're Mercy the Buzzard, or they believe that he's Huskus Pig and stuff like that. That was kind of a little, it's like, why don't they just symbolize them instead of think that they are? A little nitpicky, but I thought
you don't want them to actually be a giant wrestling pig.
Right.
You want them to be a delusional guy who thinks that he is a giant wrestling pig. And the only thing that really stuck out for me was there was so much smoke around that ring that I thought that the newest member of the Wyatt Six was Rob Van Dam.
That's right. One of a Kind with RVD every Monday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a special episode that we did this week because we couldn't record. We're doing RVDology. So I gave covered a whole gauntlet of different stuff. Funny perspective on RVDology, really emotional ones. You guys got to check it out if you want to get what One of a Kind is really all about, with what Rob really enjoys doing and helping out the fans and that stuff. So check that out. That's up now at rvdtv.com. Later this week, I'll be doing a recording with Magnum TA and Greg Gagne, get their perspective on SummerSlam and all that went down there. And hey, we always take fan questions. So tune in at fourhorsemannetwork.com. And also check out my interviews that I got to do at SummerSlam. When it go to onetruesporttv.com, Jake Cargill's up, Gunther is up, and Drew McIntyre is up. And I'll have Braun Breaker drop in here this week too. So take a look at that. Robert, you did something to sports entertainment with earlier today.
Yes, that'll be up it should be up on the Patreon now, right, Tom?
It will be up.
It will be up momentarily.
Yes.
But yes, we'll be back with Working Stiff. We'll be out this Thursday, myself and Scott Chaplin. That's wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, and the like, which is the same place you can catch the audio version of Rumor and Innuendo, which drops every afternoon. But you can catch us live every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE_Creative_ISH X account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on ad-free shows, Rumor and Innuendo, and Working Stiff. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, throw up a couple 5-star reviews, help the show expand. We love getting a chance to do this. We love having the inclusive nature of the community. Love the comments section here for those of you who make us your lunchtime appointment. If you're on the East Coast, your morning appointment, and if you're in Mountain Time, just blowing off work. So we appreciate that. So on behalf of the never late to work, Mr. Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Hey, baby, Omar's coming.